First of all, we're going to open with Miss Laird. Good to see you again. Haven't seen you in many, many years.
Hey, Jason. Good to be here.
What is a teacher?
What is a teacher? I believe a teacher is someone who is willing to share not only knowledge, but insights, analysis, discussion with others, and equally importantly, to hear those others' views about things and learn from them as well.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Greg.
We are Gen X, and welcome to our podcast. We're the
I want to give a shout out to all of our listeners out there. We are killing it on our audio only side. I want to give you guys much love out there. You guys hear us. We love you. And thank you guys for showing up as strong as you are. We are so international. We have 40 countries checking in and listening to us internationally. And I'm telling you, we have thousands of listeners in hundreds of countries listening to us tonight.
That's awesome.
That's our audio only side. They show up. Much love to Canada, much love to Japan, much love to Germany. These guys are hot right now. Singapore, I see you. Singapore is on the map. I am not even kidding. I'll show you. We got stats. Singapore, you're on the map. We love you guys. Find us on our social media. Let us know, if you guys like us, love us, or whatever. Let us know what you look like, man. If you're listening to us on audio only, we are also on Facebook and all the other social medias. So you can see the ugly mugs behind the cool voices. So you guys watching live with us, you see that Greg is not with us. Greg is deep in his other endeavors. We wish him well. He will return with us next week, but he's out there building his empire tonight. So we love that guy and we wish him the best. Shout out to Greg. Tonight we have Miss Laird. I mean, for the first, let's just call it like that. I know you're married, and Victor's outside, and you are Miss Burton. I get that, right? And I appreciate that, and that's all the love and respect. But good Lord, you know what? I got Miss Laird on the podcast. How cool is that? How cool is that? I think it's pretty cool. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you for jumping in. I appreciate that. I do.
I am so glad to be here. And I turned you down a few years ago because I was still teaching.
Right.
And I was a little afraid of what you might ask.
Sure.
But now I'm retired.
Yeah.
And I can have an honest conversation.
Okay, now we can talk about it. That's awesome. No, I get it. And you know what? And that's significant too. That's important because you have a voice, but you also were tied in. You had to represent maybe not in a certain way, but you had to separate the two things.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I get it. So thank you for jumping in now. I think any of these questions you could have answered back then. This is the direction I wanted to go.
Probably.
This is the direction I wanted to go. Okay. So shout out to all of our people out there. Thank you. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment, leave us some love. In fact, Chucky's little sister is giving us some love right now. Cindy, how you doing out there? Cindy says, hello.
Cindy
Southwick.
I know who you're talking
Chucky's
about.
little sister. That was Cindy Riley. Yes. Shout out to you guys. All right. Hey, so before she was Miss Burton, she was Cameron Laird. She was a person. She was, you know what I mean? She was way cool. Okay, before you were Miss Burton to hundreds of students, who were you? So let's kind of, to whatever degree or whatever depth you want to share, where did you grow up? What kind of kid were you? What kind of student were you? And, kind of shape that for us. Since you're a teacher, how were you as a kid?
Okay. So I grew up with two teachers. My mom taught biology and PE.
Okay.
And was the swim coach. And my dad taught Spanish and was a football and baseball coach.
Wow.
And then a counselor, and then became principal at Ripon High before moving us back to Montana, where he returned to the classroom. So we grew up with teachers. Teachers were our social friends. Education was the most important thing in our lives in terms of growing as an individual. I know a lot of people say this, but it's true. I had an ideal childhood.
Okay.
Very fortunate. Two amazing parents. I mean, my mom was born in 1937. My dad was born in 1931.
Wow.
Depression babies.
Yeah.
And I remember her asking me once when I was like 29,
yeah,
when am I going to get some grandchildren? I wasn't married yet. I don't think any of us, except maybe I don't even know who was married. But
right.
I said, you know what, Mom, you kind of brought this on yourself because you raised all your daughters to be great husbands.
That's funny.
And I meant that they raised us to do whatever we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And we all ended up teaching, all 4 of us.
Okay.
So I think that says a lot about my parents, that the role models we had raised us in such a way that we wanted to emulate them. We wanted to have the kind of life that they gave us.
Got it.
And I was the kid, quite honestly, that loved school, never wanted to miss school, loved my teachers, read all the books, did all the stuff.
Right.
I was a good student. My favorite teachers were the ones that made me think.
Right.
The ones that challenged me, the ones that, taught us to question everything. Those were my favorite teachers. And my favorite subjects, of course, were English and history, which I ended up teaching.
Right.
But I think becoming a teacher was inevitable. I actually wanted to be a social worker in high school.
Okay. Okay, so you wanted to teach adults.
Well,
not teach, but
yeah, I realized I couldn't handle the emotional aspect of being a social worker.
Yeah. There's some hard parts.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So much respect for people who do it.
Right.
But yeah, teaching was just kind of in the blood.
Okay.
So,
favorite subjects, did you always know you teach? So I guess so, right? Just that's what you wanted to do. And it wasn't like, you were told this was just the path built for you. You were allowed to build whatever path. You were allowed to do whatever you want. You were taught to be your own husband, not husband,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So, self-sufficient.
Be my own person.
Right?
Yes.
And, yeah. Even better. Correct. And so teaching was what you wanted to do, and that was just kind of your calling. So this next part, there was a question in here that said, or maybe I took it out. Did the teaching life choose you, or did you choose the teaching life? Right.
I feel like a little bit of both. I actually started out in college as a double major, journalism and drama.
Okay.
And after 2 quarters, we were on the quarter system, I realized I was not interested in writing factual news stories.
Right.
And I wasn't an actress. So my love was literature. So I would go to all these classes and then go home and read the book that I wanted to read.
Right.
So I got into the literature classes, and it didn't take me long to realize that I loved young adult books, that I loved the idea of talking about the literature.
Right.
And where do you do that? In the classroom.
Classrooms.
So
Let's read a good book and then talk about it.
yes.
I read a lot of good books. I'm glad I was forced to read some of those books. I mean, I am. I get a lie.
I am
get a
too.
lie.
I'm glad you read them.
I read most of them. I did. I think there's one from Mr. Veering, like a makeup class I had to do. I'm not sure whatever book was in there, but I read all the other ones. And even like in elementary school, we didn't have to read them, but like in 4th grade, our teacher read to us Where the Red Fern Grows. Oh, you know what I mean? And then
It's a tearjerker too.
so I know why it grows there. I know why it grows there. Right. And we've brought it up on the show before, it's like, why do we seem insensitive? Why do we seem like we just don't care? We're so lackadaisical and then so quick to fight you. And it's like, well, okay, well, here's our traumas.
Where the red bird grows.
Right. And then just last week, we're talking about, fighting at 3:00, the whole, instant recourse, instant problem solving when we were growing up. It wasn't about we were quick to fight. It was like we didn't tolerate, BS to a point to where we would just go meet at 3:00 and just fight about it. And what made it okay was like 99% of the time we were friends afterwards, like legit. We maybe not hung out or be besties, but we were like legit cool with each other, and it was solved. Right.
And that you're talking about boys.
Yes.
Yeah, because girls don't do that.
Girls don't fight at
Never
3:00.
did. No, they don't fight at all.
Right.
Their friends just hate your friends forever.
Ooh.
Right.
Yeah, they fight differently.
They spread rumors.
Ooh, that's true.
And that really hasn't changed. I think the biggest difference, though, is you can't fight at 3:00 anymore because the lawyers get involved.
That was a big thing when we were kids. I'm going to sue you. I don't want your parents to sue me.
Well,
I don't really want to fight.
Do.
Yeah, except now they do, right? Mr. Tronell, during a speech at your retirement party, thank you for having me, by the way. Mr. Tronell, during a speech, shared your dad was principal at Ripon High. I know your sister became a teacher. And here it is right here. Did education choose you or choose your family choose education? You answered that, but I didn't know your dad was principal at Ripon High. And so that explains some of the connection there. And you also said, and believe you said you're related to Coach Abeda?
He's my godfather.
Godfather. I thought you said
for my godparents.
Uncle for some reason. I'm like trying to do like math, you know, and I'm like just trying to, I'm like, and you were from Idaho or Montana, what I thought.
Right.
But again, Mr. Tonnell kind of shared all this. So I wanted to ask you about that. How did your dad become principal? And he was with Mr. Tonnell at the same time? They worked together?
They did for 1 year. So, and a lot of my students get confused about this because they're like, we thought you went to Ripon High. You know, we thought you were from Montana. My mom and dad were from Montana.
Okay.
My dad, one of his best friends, took a job in Ceres and then told my dad about this town, Ripon, that was looking for a Spanish teacher, a guidance counselor, coach. Said, come on out and check it out, Bo. So my mom and dad literally got engaged in the summer of 61 in Montana. And 2 days later, she left for Connecticut for her teaching job. And he left for Ripon for his.
Okay.
And they met back in Montana at Christmas and got married.
How cool.
And then she came out to Ripon. So they had all four of us in Ripon. We went through Ripon-L.
There's four of you?
There are four of us. Yeah.
Okay.
So Stephanie, my older sister, she, where the retirement party was, she graduated 8th grade at Ripon-L.
Okay.
And then I went through 6th grade.
Okay.
And our brother went through 3rd grade and our younger sister through 1st grade. And then moved back to Montana. But during those years, Joe O'Leary, do you remember Mr. O'Leary?
Yes.
So he was originally both the principal and superintendent because Ripon was so small.
Right.
In 1972, we had grown enough that he needed to only be superintendent. So he asked my dad if he would be the principal.
He got the job because he was like the standing close, not just standing close to him, but that wow.
Yes, and
that's pretty cool.
He did have his administrative credential.
Right. But
so he said, "Would you please take over as principal?"
Wow, that's pretty
and
cool.
My dad did not want to be principal.
No,
but he didn't know how to say no to his friend. So he did it for 4 years and told me he hated every second of it because he went from working with teenagers, which was his passion, to dealing with the 3 Ps: parents, politics, and paperwork.
Yeah. Parents, politics, and paperwork.
Yes. And most of us get into teaching because, believe it or not, we actually love kids.
Right.
That's the best part.
Right.
So he was the principal at Ripon High. That's where I saw my husband for the first time.
What do you mean? At Ripon High?
Yes. I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
He was a sophomore.
Okay.
And my dad would take us with us when he had adjunct duties as an administrator. And so I would go to the wrestling matches with him. And Victor wrestled, and I thought he was cute.
Victor's older than me?
He's 5 years older than me. He looks great, doesn't he?
I had no idea.
Shout out to my handsome husband.
Hey, Victor. I had no idea. I thought, no. Okay.
He's in the other room smiling.
Yeah, he's right
now.
over there. He's next door. What's up, Victor?
So yeah, that was the first time I ever saw him. Was then.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's Ripon born and bred too.
Okay. Good job. Okay. So, and again, some of this other stuff, we kind of covered already, so Mr. Tonnell was, did you ever not try and become a teacher? Yes, you wanted to do journalism, right? And drama, and realized that writing factual stuff wasn't hitting the gas pedal. And you're not an actress. Is that what you said? Or you're not dramatic. Is that what you said?
Okay. Well, I would say I'm not dramatic, but there are people who would disagree with that.
Fair.
That's debatable.
What made you say, I want to do this for the rest of my life?
first couple of years I taught were rough. You were there. And I had a lot of doubts about, am I any good at this? Is anything, even working? And then there were a couple kids that I thought hated my class, who I thought hated school, who I never thought I had a rapport with, that reached out to me with letters that made me cry. And I cried for a lot of other reasons during those years. But,
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, maybe I'm doing something right and I need to stay with this for a while.
Okay.
And that was kind of that first moment where it was like, okay, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get why my mom and dad devoted their lives to this. Kids are fun, and kids are unexpected. And every year since, there's at least one kid that I am floored when I get, a card at Christmas or a Starbucks gift card for Teacher Appreciation Week, because there's always one that I'm like, wow, I didn't even know you knew my name,
Right.
And that, it sounds romantic and idealistic and naive, but that's really what I think keeps most teachers in this career,
Okay.
because it's not the pay
I hear that.
or the respect.
I hear that. I do.
So
I do. Yeah, my mom was rough on staff when I was going through Rip and I. My mom was kind of rough, especially on Mr. Duxbury. She let him have it. She let him have it for kicking me out of school for being late. I swear.
okay.
So, there's an attendance policy, and we all know that attendance is the one thing that's absolutely in my control, 100%. Right. And so the irony was that I was getting kicked out of school for being late. My mom's argument was at the top of her lungs, well, at least he's trying to be here. Why why send him home when he's trying to be here? It'd be different if he's trying to ditch. Right.
And I don't disagree.
So after that, I was never sent home again. I had in-school suspension. Thanks, Mom.
And honestly, in-school suspension is the best way to deal with that, because otherwise it's a vacation.
It is a vacation. My mom wasn't home watching me. I was grounded with that. Honestly, I love you, Mom. But when I got grounded, all that really meant was I had to babysit.
Right.
That was it. I mean, I was going to babysit
And not
anyway.
be at school.
Yeah. Or that night when they went out, or, that weekend, you're grounded for this weekend. I'm like, it's Monday. Yep. Got him. Got the babysitter for the weekend. Yeah, 100%. I love you, Mom. She watches every now and then. She might see this. I don't know.
She should watch. Good for her.
Oh, first day.
I have to tell you, I don't remember my first day teaching, and I've been racking my brains to try to remember it. I remember my first year.
And was that at Ripon High?
It was. I was at Ripon High my entire career.
Okay. Start to finish. Wow.
Yep. Started
Okay.
on my the day after my 23rd birthday, and never left.
Wow.
So-
Okay.
But I do remember my first year.
And that wasn't the year I had history with you. That wasn't that year, right? That's what I thought it was. I thought your first year was my senior year, and that's just not mathematically.
No, you were a sophomore my first year.
Okay. Okay. So my first year there was.
And I thought I had you for English, but you must have had me your senior year.
I had you for history.
Okay.
So it was my senior year, but it wasn't your first year.
Right.
Got it. Okay. All right. That was your third year.
Yep.
Okay.
And I was starting to get things.
Yeah, it was seventh period history. That was its own title.
I remember.
That was its own thing. It was its own life. Seventh period history. That's so. Whatever year that was, that's when I had you. Do you remember? Oh God, I took a video camera to school one day, my senior year, and I took it to every class. Do you remember that by chance?
No.
No.
Am I in it?
Yes. Oh, 100%. 100%. So the part that I don't have it, Greg has it in a box somewhere, and we just haven't found it. That's who had the name tag too. He had it in a box somewhere. So in that video though, I take it to all the classes, and after, years later, I watched the video and I realized, one, I'm late to every single class and nobody says a word. Two, in between one of the classes, Amanda Egan, remember Amanda?
I do.
Mandy's walking from the art class over this way. I'm coming from the office. Mandy's walking this way, and I catch up to her and I dig out the card and I do my thing. It's all I'm showing off, right? This is what we all did, right? Just change your attendance card because it was on paper,
And we all knew that was going on.
Did you? You did, right?
Yes.
So that's
Some
later.
I better erasers.
I love you, Mandy. Yeah. So I took this video camera to school and I'm late to all the classes. I changed my card. Anyways, I go into your class late and you tell me, make sure you turn that camera off, turn that off, just turn it off. I'm like, okay. And I take it off my shoulder and I'm holding it like this. And you're like, turn it off. I said, it's off. And I set it down as if setting it down turned it off. But I set it down and it faced your desk. I think your desk was by the door then. Or it was in front. It was over here. Anyways, it faced. I don't remember. So, anyways, it faced there and I recorded most of the class. And then I took it to the next class. I have to dig that out. I have to, Greg, bro, we got to get that tape. We got to get that VHS tape.
I can't even imagine what is on that tape because if memory is serving me correctly, you were in there with Emmanuel.
DePa? Mm-hmm. Was in there. Yeah, was Emmanuel in there? I think Doug was in there.
Tige
was in there. It was
Pat King.
I ain't gonna lie. It was like the bonehead class. I'm not saying you taught a bonehead class. I'm talking about the students that were in it. They were all the rough kids. It was kind of like all the knuckleheads.
It was a little bit like Welcome Back, Kotter.
It was kind of all the knuckleheads in there with Esky in the room next door doing the whole cat noise between the.
Well, I had him in class too, not that one. And what was his buddy's name? Dan
Fitzer?
Yep.
Hi, Dan. How you doing, Dan? I haven't seen that guy since high school.
Me neither.
Dan. All right. First day teaching, but your first year. Terrified? Did the students know? What did you fake it to? And we'll blend the rest of these in. Like the fake it till you make it. When did you have your hands on the wheel?
Okay. So I'm not going to do this in order, but I will tell you, I laughed when I read the fake till you make comment because I can remember calling my dad 5 years in, 10 years in, and still saying, Dad, the imposter syndrome is not going away.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, it never does. And he taught for like 40 years. And he said, I think that's what keeps us getting better because we're so terrified that people are going to actually find out that we don't know what the hell we're doing, or that we are unprepared, or that we can't answer a question, or whatever. And my first year, you get out of college, you have loans to pay off.
Right.
Somebody offers you a job, you take it.
Yeah.
And the job that was open at Ripon High was remedial English, 9, 10, and 11, 12, and conversational Spanish.
Okay.
And ESL.
Okay.
So when Mr. O'Leary and Mr. Stevens asked if I felt like I could teach ESL and conversational Spanish, that was that semester-long class that you guys had to take, because I had some credits on my transcript. They asked if I felt like I could do that and coach the fast pitch softball team. I said, absolutely, sure, yes, I could do that. And then they hired me and I went back to Montana. I flew out for the interview. And my dad, who is bilingual and taught Spanish, had a master's degree in Romance languages, is, in the house laughing. And I'm like, Dad, here's the textbook. I'm going to be calling you every single night. He goes, that's fine. All you got to do is stay one day ahead of them.
That's it. All you guys stay one day ahead.
One day ahead. So I taught conversational Spanish, even though I was 100% not qualified to teach a foreign language.
That's funny.
And actually, I did stay a day ahead. And I like to think that some of those kids learned some Spanish.
Yeah.
So that fake it till you make it, you do get to the point where you're comfortable, though. I mean, and I did.
Right.
And I got to the point where I felt professional. But I was a little too close in age, you know? It's a challenge when you still speak the same language and listen to the same music.
Yeah.
And have the same, jokes and stuff as your students do.
Yeah.
And my 18-year-olds, my first year teaching, were only 5 years younger than me.
Right.
So Chris Johnson was in that class.
Like that. He's such a good guy. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it was fun. And I will tell you, one of my seniors, my first year teaching,
Right.
this last year, my final year teaching, her grandson was in my history class. And I went to Keith and said, this is a sign from God.
Yeah.
It is way past time for me to retire.
So one of your first year students' grandson or grandkids?
Yes.
Wow.
So 3 generations.
Yeah.
3 generations.
All of the some of the 80s, all of the 90s, all of the 2000 to 10s, and then 10 to 20s.
Yep.
Dang.
39 years.
Dang. In a row.
Yes, in a row. I
nonstop.
I didn't resign in the middle and go back. And my original plan was to retire at 55, and then I, got married at 37 and had a baby at 39.
Yes.
And all bets were off.
There we go.
So
Yeah.
that's okay. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I get it. Let's take a second quick and check in. They got Chris McDougal. Remember Chris McDougal?
Oh, I do. Hi, Chris.
He's right there. He's saying, hey, shout out McDougal. Love you, brother. Vince Engel. Shout out to Vince Engel. He's
hey,
chiming
Vince.
in. Started with American Pie. This song, This Is What I Remember. Donnie Laughlin?
Yeah. Don Klein. Oh, I thought you were talking about American Pie.
No, Donnie Laughlin. What's up, Donnie? How you doing? He's like, Miss Laird.
Yeah.
And he's saying hello to Cindy. So we got those folks chiming in. If you guys are watching, text in, say hello. If you have a question or if you want something you want to share something or, give her some love, hit us up in the comments, you guys. She's right here. We're live. She's right here. So let us know who's watching and, come up with some questions or something. So. All right. So first year, a lot of dad support. And then the fake it till you make it, you said lasted, 10 years in.
Oh, yeah.
At least 10 years in.
I think as you, and you've experienced this, I'm sure, you move into new positions, you get, we don't really get promoted as teachers, but you become mentors, you become department chair. As you move through your career, every time you have a new move, you start, or at least I did, I started to feel that imposter syndrome come back.
Yeah. That's a real thing, or is that just a cool term?
I mean, that's what my dad and I call it.
Is
I
it?
don't know if anybody else does.
Fair. That's kind of what I was asking. Okay.
But you understood it right away.
Yeah, I
didn't you?
did. That's why I was wondering, is that a real thing? I want to look that up. It should be. Okay.
It is now. It's public.
What year was this? 88? The first year you worked as a teacher?
Fall of 87. So
Fall of
graduated
87.
class 88. Yep.
Okay. I want to ask, what was your starting wage in the fall of 87?
$23,500. And that included my coaching stipend.
Okay.
So $23,500.
Oh, that wasn't your hourly.
No, that was my
That was your yearly?
salary.
20. So
23,000. Wow. And I felt wealthy beyond.
right, I'm trying. So that's like 16 an hour ish. No,
And I have no idea.
20. What's half of 23?
I mean, 10 months.
11, 11 and a half.
Yeah.
$11 an hour, $12 an hour ish, give or take.
Yeah.
And I wonder what minimum wage was back then. Was it like the $4.25? Is that kind of
It was,
back there?
I know my senior year in college, it was like $4.15 in Montana.
Okay.
When I started working, it was $2.90
Dang. Okay.
in high school. So, and here we are.
That's
But you have to remember, I
crazy,
bought my first house in Ripon in 1994 for $94,000.
Okay. It's more than that now.
I
I'm just
mean-
going to tell you that. It's more than that now.
Well, the house I'm in now was not my first house, so
Oh, that you're not in the little house, the house with the little orange tree in the garage?
yeah.
That's
I had a
not
house
your
before
first.
that.
Oh, got you. Okay. You still got that orange tree?
No, it finally died.
Really?
Yeah, the sweetest oranges in
I
town.
raided that tree every year.
We still have an avocado tree, though.
I ate hella oranges off that tree.
You did.
I did. I'd help myself. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, here we go. Do teachers have favorite students? What makes a student memorable? What is the greatest compliment you could ever receive? Has a single student made an impact on you? Did they change anything about you? Blah, 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 blah. Let's give some students some love. So, do teachers have favorite students? Yes, and why?
Teachers do.
Yeah.
I don't. And I will never publicly change that answer.
Okay. So maybe we define what favorite student is.
So I have had many students over the years that I had a better rapport with than with others. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they were my favorite students, because I don't have favorite students. And I'll die on that hill.
Fair.
If I were ever forced to say any favorite students, it would just be Molly, Burton, and Zach Pratt. Because that's my daughter and my nephew.
Got it.
And I can say that.
Okay.
But I have to tell you, a lot of different things make students memorable.
Okay.
Sometimes their absence. I had a student a few years ago that had, and I'm not exaggerating, I counted 64 absences from my class. He was memorable because I was marking him absent every day.
Right.
But one of the things that I have always appreciated are students with a personality.
Okay.
Whether they got in trouble or not, whether they were A students or D students, involved in things, not involved in things, whether they smelled like marijuana walking in the door or were drinking lattes. I really don't care. Yeah. You know, if they have a personality, because you can have fun with kids who have personalities, regardless of where they're coming from. And I think they appreciate teachers who will have fun with them and not judge.
Right.
And I like to think that I was that teacher.
Okay.
I don't know that I always was.
Well, you did let us watch 21 Jump Street during class.
Well, you know, Johnny,
was it the season finale? Was it something so important that we couldn't miss it? Is how I don't remember. Was it the season opener or something?
It was my favorite show.
The Who Shot JR episode of the show?
I loved that show.
I remember that. It was more than once. The big AV cart would come in. I'm like, we're gonna watch a history movie. We're gonna watch what? Nope.
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street.
Well, I figured if Mr. Sanders could show Tour of Duty every single Thursday,
that guy, he was
or
your
China Beach,
typical
that I could show 21 Jump Street.
History football coach or coach
Yep.
/ history teacher. There's like, he's in movies.
Yes.
He's not, but his character is. You know what I mean? He's that guy. He's your coach, history teacher guy.
And I will tell you, he is, to this day, one of the brightest people I've ever known. And he actually knew his history.
You know what?
I don't know that got across.
You know what got across to me is not to F around with him or his class.
Right.
Period. I one time and one time only. I learned my lesson the one time and never gave him. I didn't even give him a hard time, but I did what was worse. I gave his substitute a hard time.
Ooh.
I did. So
taboo.
So there was those little glass stink bombs, little sulfur bombs, those little glass ones.
Yeah.
I put it underneath the leg of a desk, and then I just left it there. And then whoever sat down in it broke it. So I didn't do it. Cleared the classroom.
Air quotes.
And of course it was hella funny. But the next day, Sanders knew where it was, and at that class, he said, "Everybody leave except for you, and you, everybody around it." And I mean,
did you confess?
I didn't have to. Somebody else confessed for me. I wasn't sitting around that desk, so I wasn't the one who was called in. And so he just whoever. So the desk was right here, and everybody sitting around it. He made stay. And
So you let someone else take the fall?
No.
Oh.
Somebody else let him know that it was me.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then
okay.
I got called in. Of course, I didn't lie or whatever. And you know what? This sounds goofy, but I kind of respect the guy for it. Punished me. He made me copy out of the dictionary, character for character and spaces, and all those stupid little black dots in between. If it's a period, it's a period. If it's a comma, it's a comma. If it's incorrect, you're doing it over. Copy A.
Oh my God.
From the dictionary. A.
the whole,
all the A's.
and you did it.
I did.
Good for you.
I didn't mess around with that guy no more.
You have a great vocabulary now. All beginning with A.
Although, exactly. Yeah, no, that was a one and done. That was a one and done for him. So I don't mess with that guy anymore. Single student made an impact on you. Has a student changed a school of thought, or something, an aha moment, good or bad? Did somebody change a behavior or a habit, or see something that needed to be different or something? You know what I mean? Like,
I do. And I've thought a lot about that. I can't think of one single student. I have had groups of students that have had an impact on me.
okay.
And honestly, I've had thousands of students. Not all of them have had an impact on me. But if I really get, to brass tacks, but, you guys don't see the impact you have on your teachers, just like they say teachers don't realize the impact we have on you.
Right.
You had an impact. Look at where we are in 2026, sitting at your house. You're feeding dinner to my husband, and we're talking on your podcast. And how many people that you went to school with would ever have envisioned that happening?
Not a single
Seriously,
freaking one. Not a single one.
And,
I wasn't in that direction then. This would have been like not a good guess. This would not have been a good bet.
Right. Well, and one of the questions that you asked me to consider is the greatest compliment that I can receive from a student. Mm-hmm. This is it, Jason. This is it. When a teacher is invited somehow into a former student's world, whether it's an invitation to a wedding or a college graduation announcement, or, even seeing them somewhere and having them tell you, oh, we were just talking about you the other night, blah, 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 being invited to be on a podcast. It really doesn't matter what you learned in my classroom. Something happened, or this wouldn't be happening.
Right.
And that is the greatest compliment as a teacher that I think a student can give us, is to invite us into their adult world.
Into our lives, yeah.
Yeah.
Invite you over that boundary, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's that's an impact. That's an impact right there. So something else that you asked was if I ever misjudged a student.
Oh, no, I asked you to judge them all. I'm just kidding.
I did. It's okay to judge. It's not okay to prejudge, right?
Fair. You let them do it first.
But right. I've thought a lot about that issue too. Mm. There are so many students that grew up. And if you remember Mr. Robertson.
Yeah.
Bing Bang Bongo.
Yes.
That was his.
That was the paragraph structure. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Not everybody knew that. I go around life talking about that.
You do.
I went around in live talking, Bing Bang Bongo, and they're like,
what?
I'm like, I grew up in Ripon.
It was the trendy kind of essay writing technique at the time. So, or maybe it wasn't. It might have just been him.
It might have just been his.
Right? But I can't remember my second or third year. I was pretty young still, and we still shared that awful building where we had the accordion wall between us.
Yeah.
And he could see I was upset, and we were walking, and I said, oh, these sophomore boys, they're making me nuts. I don't get it. I don't understand what their behavior is all about. And he, with that kind of Southern drawl he had, he said, Cam, when I get upset like that, I remind myself that almost 100% of these 15-year-old punks are going, in 10 years, are going to be socially responsible, contributing members of society. They may be husbands, they may be fathers, they may have careers. They are going to grow up and be good people. And we have to help them get there. Mm. And I really tried to keep that in the forefront all 39 years.
Right.
It was very challenging at times.
Right.
But so when I think about misjudging, I don't think I misjudged students at that moment. You know, I really look back and I'm like, you know, if I thought a kid was being a jerk, he was being a jerk.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he's always going to be a jerk. And it's really kind of wonderful to see that they don't stay that way.
Right. Right.
So, you know, that's kind of where I am with that.
I think their original question was, could you see the criminals coming? Could you see, you know, I think criminal was one who most likely, that's what it was. Most likely to become a criminal, most likely to drop out, most likely to become a mom or whatever. Most likely. And she's like, I'm not doing that. No. She's like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. I will say that I did predict a few things correctly over the 39 years, and I will not be saying what they were.
So predicting them most likely, same thing, better language. Got it. Okay. I want you to name drop to the best of your ability. I want you to build the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Right. I need students and 2 colleagues. Right. You can be creative with however that balance is. Right. And then I'm taking the names from the movie, period, point blank. Right. So that's the context. Right. The brain, the athlete, the basket case, the princess, and the criminal. Who would you place as Principal Vernon and Carl, the cool custodian?
Okay. So when I looked at this, I'm assuming you would like names that you will recognize.
Or whoever, just from your experience. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
I assumed one of my people would make this list.
I'm going to try and stick to the late 80s, early 90s for this.
Okay.
So, who's the brain? Vicky Lan.
Okay. Good call.
Vicky Lan.
Okay.
The athlete. I'm thinking Jamie Thomas.
That's a good one. We like Jamie. We were just talking about Jamie the other day. Anyways, yeah. Jammer. That was his nickname, Jammer.
Oh, I did not know that.
Jammer. No, he's a good dude.
So that's the male.
Nice.
Okay. If I were going to say female, which I am.
Okay.
I'm thinking Trudy Imfeld.
Ooh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great athlete.
She was super sporty, huh?
Smart.
I remember that.
She was a brain also.
Yeah, that whole family's on top.
Yeah. Yeah. Good people. The basket case.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of different angles. From the movie, she was just the odd duck, right? Just the odd duck who was eating her fingernails and making pictures with her dandruff. And
yeah, and I honestly can't even think of anyone that I would say for that.
Sure.
And it's not very complimentary.
I get that. Is there 1 or 2 or 3?
I mean, I could think of some of the people that I thought were a little bit out there.
Yeah.
But
fair.
I think I'm going to skip that one.
Okay. So there's some contenders. When you nail down a finalist, you'll let me know.
Okay.
Fair.
I will.
All right. How about the princess? And
So-
the princess is pretty complimentary because they
is.
portrayed her just from affluent, privileged, but separated parents, right?
And I would not know those details about the girls at Ripon High, like as far as their economics
Their
or whatever,
fanciness.
or their parents or whatever. But Amanda
Egan.
Oh,
I love Mandy. She's fun.
I always saw Amanda, and of course she was the homecoming queen.
Yeah.
And I could tell you every homecoming queen
smoking in
since
that picture. You see that picture?
1987. Yes.
She's in this. She's right here. No,
She's a beautiful girl.
that was a good picture. Where's it at? It's in here.
Her hair was always so perfect. The color, everything. She's a really pretty girl. And her mother was a beautiful woman too. So
Her mom was really cool too. It's in here. I just saw it the other day.
yeah,
I'm all over this.
and I know
thing.
some people see the term princess as
like snooty or something,
snooty,
and Mandy
and
was
that's not how we're looking
good.
at it.
No, and Mandy was
but
not snooty.
she
If
just had
Mandy
that.
didn't like you, you messed up. You were on her bedside. You goofed.
Yeah.
I don't care.
She just had a lot of class,
Yes.
and always looked polished and put together, and that's how I'm. And just
Yes.
she looked like she should wear a crown all the time.
I talk to Mandy, well, not often, but we're social media, and we've stayed in touch over the years. So,
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I love that. Okay. The criminal.
Well, God,
The criminal. Who was the bender?
do we have time?
Yeah.
Do we have time
Pick
for all
three.
the names?
Pick 3.
So present company excluded.
I'll be Bender. I don't even care. And then Cindy Riley, my Mandy.
Esky.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he really was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm looking up that guy a lot.
You know, I don't know if Judd Hirsch really was, but
Yeah. Esky, Esky, you know, he did Esky stuff. I get that.
yeah, he did.
He's no longer with us.
You're
in case
kidding.
you didn't know. And nor is his little brother Eddie. They're both they're both gone now. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
because
no.
last time I saw Eddie, and last time I saw Esky, they both seemed to be like working and kind of turning things around. But that was years and years and
That
years
was like
ago.
the mid 90s,
It
maybe.
was. It was.
I saw Esky also working and doing all that. But I found out later at some point after that, they moved to Chicago.
Oh, that's random.
Yeah. Maybe their dad moved out there and they moved
Okay.
with them or something. I don't know. And they just fell to the street stuff and they just didn't make it.
And they both have passed.
That's what I hear.
I'm
That's
very
what I
sorry to hear
so.
that.
Yep. Jamie Francella.
Gina?
Jamie.
Oh, Jamie. Yes.
Jamie. He says he's watching. He's on the show a lot. I like that guy. He's
Well, he's
fun.
the stormtrooper or whatever it is, right? Yeah.
He's our Star Wars
Star
rep.
Wars guy.
Yes. Opinion on current state of students and nowadays compared to her early career. Question. Opinions on current state of students nowadays compared to early in her career. So, the state of, not necessarily Gen Alpha or not Gen Alpha, but, today's kids versus, the 80s kids.
Yeah. Okay, do you want me to jump to this?
Yeah, answer that.
All right, let's jump to that. Give the people what they want.
Yes.
So Mr. Tornell and I rarely agreed on things.
That's
when we were
so
teaching.
funny.
And one of the few things that he and I were usually in the minority in saying was when people would say, oh, the kids are different today, whatever today was.
Yeah.
We would say, no, they're not. The kids are the same. The environment's different. The parents are different. The technology's different, yada, 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 until the last few years. And he may still feel that way. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been teaching the last few years. Even before COVID, but COVID certainly exacerbated this. It's the kids. The kids are different. And it's the first time in my career that I've ever said that.
Wow.
They are, and don't get me wrong, I've had some bright, shining stars and some amazing young people in my classes the last few years that give me so much hope for our future. And with that said, in a gross generalization,
Sure.
they lack personality. They lack the ability to critically think.
Yeah.
Because they just want to push a button and get the information. They've allowed AI to do everything for them.
Dang.
Kids, I don't have the rapport with my students in a general sense today that I used to. And part of it is that I'm old and cranky. and I admit that. But part of it too is that as soon as the AI, the chat GPT, all that came out, I just went right back to pen and paper. I didn't waste time with meetings and conferences and Facebook sites. How do we deal with AI? How do we do this? How do we do that? How do we teach them? This is what we hear at even my own school.
Yeah.
How do we teach the kids to use AI responsibly? And I'm the teacher in the meeting with my hand up. You can't plagiarize responsibly. It's cheating. Why are you trying to do this? So my kids didn't really appreciate me because I made them use a pen and paper in class and they couldn't cheat anymore.
Yeah.
All that to say to Jamie, I'm scared for the kids today. Your generation, my generation, and some of the kids even today, we're taught to be self-sufficient. We have a learned helplessness
Yeah.
that has pervaded society, and schools are simply a reflection. They're just a microcosm of the society around them.
Right.
So it's ironic because the generation that is so self-sufficient and so tough, and we raised ourselves, are the parents of these children who are learned helpless.
And that's a trip.
Yeah. I don't know how that happened.
Hey, maybe we didn't.
Maybe it's those people in between Gen X and Gen Z.
I'll tell you why. Because I told my mother I was going to visit my cousin in Valley Springs, and me and my buddy Mike
Engel. Oh,
well, he watches this show. No, he's good. Me and Engel ended up in Oakland Coliseum hanging out with the Deadheads during the Grateful Dead concert over there.
Nice.
Our car gets towed. And we chase down the tow truck driver on the street, flag him down. We dive over the fence. We lay in the middle of the street like this. He stops, takes all of our money left because we went there and bought a bunch of, just Frisbees and T-shirts, right?
Yes.
And yeah, so I'm doing that. Other times I'm telling my mom I'm over at Mike's house and we're face down in out at Stouffer Field or something. And that's why kids are on Life 360 now. And that's why my kids don't go in.
I know that. I get that.
That's 100% why.
And you know what's funny is I did not do those things.
Yeah.
But we were still gone all day, riding our bikes, doing whatever. And my daughter didn't have a cell phone until she was a sophomore in high school, the last in her entire class. And we have never tracked it. We just trust that she is where she says she is.
Oh, I would track it just for things beyond her control, kind of. You know what I mean?
She can turn it, and we've told her that. Anytime you want to give us the ability, because it's a safety thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just mean, I have friends that track their kids while they're trick-or-treating, and their kids are like in junior high with a group in Ripon. I'm like, can you leave
Rippon's
them
like
alone?
a fenced-off area. I mean,
know, right?
you
Can
really
just
can't
leave
get to
your
it.
kids alone for a minute? God.
I don't know.
And with that said, please, I'm not trying to disrespect parents.
No. Yeah, I get it. But I'm just too aware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, I feel like it's not naked feeling, but I feel like if I can't see or if I don't know, then I feel like kind of like driving across the road without looking both ways. I'm only looking this way and I'm going to go. I have to look this way first, or there's like a blind spot and I just feel vulnerable, right?
And I get that, but do you think, Jason, that maybe parents, good parents who just want to keep their kids safe, have inadvertently created some of this helplessness? Because it's almost like the message we're sending is that we don't trust you to ever be smart enough to look both ways.
I wasn't smart enough to look. I was lucky. I was lucky.
Okay, that's fair.
I understand. I hear what you're saying, and the answer is yes. The answer is yes. I learned my coping and problem solving skills and all that stuff through what I learned and didn't learn, and directly or indirectly, right?
Right.
If I didn't have good personal boundaries, I eventually ran into somebody else's boundaries.
Absolutely.
And that's where the F around and find out comes around.
Yes.
Right? I'm out there goofing around with no boundaries, and I run into somebody else's, and they're like, nope, you're not gonna, nope. Yep. I'm like, okay, so I was just kidding.
And I also think that we realize a lot of things as adults that we were completely oblivious to as kids, right? And it was safer when we were growing up.
Cindy Riley, I would have implanted trackers on my kids if I could. Cindy, I get it.
The vet will do that for you.
Oh, Mr. Francella. Yes, I was dropped a few times. Oh, yeah, you did. 100%. And then Donnie Laughlin. I call my son and daughter every single night to make sure they're okay. 22 and 26. My son's a Marine.
Wow.
Love it.
I mean, if my son were a Marine, I would probably be a little more concerned. My daughter went to college at the University of Hawaii, Manoa, and just graduated in May.
Nice.
So for 5 years, she was 2,000 miles away in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
I did text her a couple times a week, but we committed to only talking on the phone on Sundays because she's like, Mom, I don't have anything to tell you if we talk every day.
Yeah.
Give me a chance to do something.
I hear that.
So that we have a nice visit. And that was good for me, because it is too easy with the cell phones and the texting to just never stop communicating.
Yeah. I get it. I do. I like some of the advantages, but I also see, like you're pointing out, some of the disadvantages or some of the things we're learning the wrong way.
Yes, and especially these young people with their dating. I mean, if they don't hear back from the person they're dating on a text within like 10 minutes, they're freaking out and thinking, oh my God, he's ignoring me. I'm like, oh my God. Let him breathe.
So a couple weeks ago, we talk about dating, like especially like in elementary school. I talked about my first kiss, which is like, in sixth grade. We talked about, and the rules back then, they never would have survived back when we were kids. As a guy calling a girl's house, we could only call once.
Oh yeah.
We could only call once, and it couldn't be anywhere near too late. And we prayed that the dad didn't answer. We prayed, and all the things we had to do in person. We couldn't ask a girl out over the phone. That was coward. She couldn't accept. You know what I mean? We had to do it in person. We had to be rejected in person. We had to do all this stuff face to face. And these kids are freaking out because they have apps. I can put up a profile and good pictures from good angles, and then that's how I fish today. You know what I mean?
I do.
I've done it. I mean,
I'm just so glad I'm from a different generation.
I get it. And so, that's how I met Tammy, was on a site, but we instantly went over to text and talking, and then we met face to face,
And it is another option. And, my cousin met her husband that way. And it's like, okay, is it really any less safe than meeting in a bar? You're taking a risk no matter what.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that whole bar scene for me comes with a whole different layer, and I just avoid that whole thing anyway. So
yeah.
I'm out.
If they're not at the church picnic.
Well. I am today, but back then it was fun. Who's the principal and who's the custodian? Who'd you pick for principal?
Gary Potter. He was after your time, but some of your listeners might remember him.
Gary Potter?
He is the only boss that I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah.
That I could not get along with. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay. And you would choose him?
Yeah, because...
Did you grow? Did you like all that stuff?
Did I grow?
Under him? Was he difficult in that way? Like forced you to or no?
He tried to force us to do some things, and I went straight to the district and showed them the contract and why we couldn't be forced to do it.
Got it. Okay.
Because I'm that person.
Okay.
No.
Then okay.
He was kind of a little despot. He was, a little bit full of himself, and we were
because this character was kind of a hard ass on the kids. Yeah. Got it. Oh, got it. Okay.
He was a little full of himself.
Got it. Yes. Because I make $22,000 a year and I own a home. Right. I think is what he said.
Right.
Or something like that. Right. Is that, I think I make $32,000 a year.
This principal in the Breakfast Club was obviously a comic relief character.
Yeah.
Where I would not say that about any of my principals.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick someone that you're not getting the respect that you think you're getting.
Okay, I got you. That guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who'd you pick for the cool custodian?
LJ.
He's probably watching.
And I know
he sneaks in here every now and then.
I don't even call him that, but I figured everybody else says Lauren.
Yeah.
And he was also my student, and I am just so proud of who he is today.
Yeah.
And I loved working with him, and I love that I've been a part of his adult life, and he is cool.
He's a good dude.
He's
a good fucking dude. He is. I chat with him, not regularly, kind of like on social media, like, on Messenger and stuff. We talk, you know what I mean? A couple times a month, probably. Yeah. Just whatever we talk about, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, he's
those connections matter.
I like that guy. Yeah. Okay. I was kind of hoping you'd pick him. All right, and here we go. What did we think we were getting away with? I don't know you knew the truth about 99% of the time, but what was that one I just thought you pointed out? It's like, changing our attendance.
Yeah.
I never considered that you guys have figured that. Then why didn't anybody say anything?
Stopped. Well, I mean, you didn't do it in the classroom. You did it when they were out walking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't see you doing it, but we would say, because it was those big white, almost cardboard.
Yeah. They're like the bowling cards.
Yes. And you put the X if they were tardy, and then or absent, and then the X. And it's like you could see the erase marks. So I think the office did say things to their office staff at some point, but that's one of the reasons we stopped using those.
Yeah. Okay.
Have we gone way over our 30 minutes?
No, that was Chris McDougal chiming in. Let's see what he says. He's watching. What's up, Chris? Okay.
But, in my classes, you probably did get away with a lot because I couldn't hear.
I remember that.
I've always had a hearing impairment, and so I probably missed some things.
Okay. What are things that kids think they're getting away with that you just guys know, whether you choose to say something or not? But what are some?
Okay, the biggest thing
Your
for
side
me
of the stuff, the
that I
teacher's
do
lounge stuff.
know,
Yeah.
getting me off topic, and I kind of have a legacy when you talk to people. Oh, she was so easy to get off topic, and it's like you think you're getting away with this. But
To distract you from the lesson, get you off topic,
yeah,
you mean?
Yeah. And I would just straight up say, it's not like I don't know that we're off topic, but guess what? That just means this is all homework for you guys.
The less we cover here, the more you're doing it home.
Exactly. I'm like, I'll talk about other stuff all day long. I've done Romeo and Juliet 3 times today already. This is awesome. Let's talk about the dog you just got. But you now have to do this at home without my help.
That's funny. So just worked against them.
Sometimes they didn't care because I think, sometimes you just need to visit.
I get that.
Sometimes you just need to visit with kids and let them know who you are and find out who they are.
Humanize yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
I get that. All right. Back to the 80s.
Okay.
I'm from a school that provided corporal punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We talked a little bit about this earlier before the show, right? Your dad was a principal during the corporal punishment, years at least.
Yes.
Did he provide the service?
The vice principal probably did, Mr. Jacobson.
Okay.
Or Mr. Dexberry. I do know, and I think it's okay for me to tell this story.
Sure.
Since, my dad's been gone since 99 and, whatever. I do know that there was a student who was very disrespectful to one of the teachers, and he got hauled into my dad's office and smarted off to my dad, and my dad picked him up by the front of his shirt, picked him up, slammed him against the wall, and the pictures on Mr. Jacobson's wall on the other side fell off. And I never saw my dad like that at home.
Yeah.
He was a very even-tempered person. But I remember asking my mom, like, what could a kid have possibly said? And he was disrespectful about women.
Yeah.
I was raised by a dad that was ahead of his time as a male feminist.
Sure.
Thank God. And you just didn't demean anyone,
Right.
especially women. But anyway, he picked that kid up and slammed him right against the wall.
Dang.
And got away with it. Like the parents came in, he was suspended. He didn't hide it. Then the parents were like, well, he deserved it.
And the parents were okay with that?
Yep.
Wow.
He probably got worse at home.
I mean, my mom would have whooped my ass, but she'd have raised some hell. Nobody else can put their hands on me, on her baby.
No. And this was 1972.
Oh, God.
So-
Okay, yeah. So things were a little different.
Yep.
Things were a little different back
Coach
then.
Abeda cut their hair at school too. So
Because the long hairs,
if your hair touched the collar of your shirt,
You would cut it?
Yep. I think Victor's brother, his older brother, Coach was going to cut his hair, and I think Victor's mom did get upset about that.
Wow.
Him cutting her son's hair. I think she told me that story once.
The long hairs over here.
Yeah, but Abeda had the paddle. He probably still had it when you were there.
I want a paddle. I want to own a paddle. I do.
I don't know. I mean, I think they were just cutting boards.
So I read on this a little bit. I did, there was no, school district sanctioned paddle source. They were often made in wood shop.
Right.
And then the vice principal would have their paddle, and that was theirs, and they would keep it or whatever. And then when corporal punishment ended, they were thrown away. They kept them. They put them in the wall. Hung on the wall, right?
Yeah.
I want one of those.
I suppose you could ask that. Do you ever talk to Keith Rangel?
Keith has a paddle?
Well, I don't know, but he's a principal. He might know where there is one.
Yeah,
if there are any to be had.
If there are any to be had.
I mean, I got spanked at elementary school at Ripponell by Mr. Humbert. I don't know if anybody here.
What would you do to get spanked for? What would a girl do to get spanked for?
What do you mean?
Well,
Why couldn't a girl get spanked?
well, they could generally. Okay, what grade?
I don't remember what grade I was, but I do remember wanting to take the class down to say hi to my dad and Joe O'Leary.
Yeah.
And so I took some kids and we walked around Ripon and we just left school. And I was
left school
to go down and say hi to my dad at the high school.
I was thinking boys would more likely to get in trouble for being rambunctious, fighting, wrestling, throwing
Right.
mud, doing boy stuff. That's what I meant. It's like that's more likely at a younger age to get in trouble. I'm like, well, is a girl fighting? Is she throwing mud? Is she bringing in
Right.
frogs to the classroom? Is she pulling hair? Right? No, she took a bunch of kids and left campus.
I was a leader. I was a leader of children.
Call it. It's good.
That's when I knew, Jason.
That's what I knew. Right? I led a little Pied Piper right off
There you
campus.
go.
There we go. Okay. You know what? Let's wrap this up a little bit. But you know what? There's a few good questions. I want to ask you this right now. This is a Gen X question.
Okay.
What kid still lives inside you?
Jimmy Clifford.
Tell me.
Did you know Jimmy?
Well, no, but I know of him and I know the stories and I know that family has just had a hard time.
Yeah.
Jamie Clifford,
Jimmy,
the young one.
the one that died.
Jamie, I did know. Yes.
was in a car wreck.
Yes. Sorry.
That's okay.
There was Angie and
Yeah.
there was an older
I
Clifford.
didn't know the older one.
Okay. Yes. I'm so sorry. I blanked on that for a second. Yes.
okay.
Of course I know Jimmy. Yes.
Yep. I had Jimmy in class 2 different years. And he and Justin both live inside me still.
Wow.
They were they were kids
Yeah.
that some teachers would write off. And you know what I mean when I say that? Like,
Yeah.
You know, they're not going anywhere.
Most likely.
And I loved them. And when I got the news, I was in Montana and my mom said, we were there for a wedding, and my mom said, "Are these kids you're close to?" And I said, "Open my wallet." And there's their senior pictures in my wallet.
Wow.
I carried both of them in my wallet. Yeah, those 2 boys live inside.
I
me
get
still.
it. No, I get it. I get it.
I didn't mean to bring it down.
No. I know.
answer, honestly.
Justin was my first Ripon friend. I talk about this a lot. He was my connection to Ripon outside of Manteca Cowboys football with like Tony and Ange Cardoza and and Cindy and Chucky. You know what I mean? My dad and Justin's dad were best friends growing up. They were
okay.
lifelong friends.
Wow.
So I knew Justin on the family level.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So not bringing it down any chance we get. In fact, that's why we did the whole Madsen Street podcast, Gen X Kids of Ripon, because all those kids lived on Madsen Drive, not Street, but Madsen Drive. We covered that and we talked a lot about Justin and stuff and Randy, and Randy was on that street too. So
Randy lives in, yeah.
So
He was my TA.
Cool.
That was tough too.
I'm glad that you answered that way, because that's a nice nugget of just good love. But what I meant was in the Gen X, in the kid version, like maybe I'll answer it, right? What
Okay.
kid still lives inside of me? I still buy Captain Crunch with Crunchberry cereal. I still buy Fruity Pebbles cereal. I'll still have a giant bowl. I'll have 2 bowls. I will eat the cereal, pour more cereal. I will break all of the rules as I had as a kid. And because my mom always told me, when you have your own house, you can eat the cereal how you want.
And you do.
And I am 54 years old and I am plowing through a box of only Crunch Berries.
Oh my God.
Only.
Captain Crunch rips the heck
They're
out
softer
of my-
now. After 2 bowls, you get that. But the first bowl back in the day, it would eat your mouth apart.
I know.
It would 100%. And do
horrible.
you remember the shredded wheats back in the day?
Yes.
The big giant ones.
Yes. That's what my dad ate every single morning.
Who made cereal this big, the palm the size of your hand, right?
Yep. You had to cut it with your spoon.
You had to cut it with your spoon and then add more sugar because the sugar part went. And anyways, the kid that still lives in me, one of them, is I still eat. I eat cereal like my mom told me not to.
Okay.
What
So
kid
that's
lives
what
inside you?
Wow, I completely
No, but you know what?
misinterpreted that
Nah,
question.
you swung at that and you hit a home run with that one. So no, that's going into a short.
Okay. So I guess the kid that still lives inside of me is that if Scooby-Doo comes on, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and watch it.
Really?
I love Scooby-Doo.
That's awesome.
Raised my daughter with Scooby-Doo. So that cartoon. And I don't know that I have another kid thing.
That's a good one though. The Scooby-Doo's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because we could be all in business and documents and all serious stuff and go, hold on. Oh, this is the Orange Spectre one. This is where they go to the fair, and at the end of the fair, it's the guy, but it's the janitor because the boss fired him and he just wanted to steal his money back or something.
And honestly, they were way ahead of their time because all monsters are actually people.
Oh, isn't that weird?
They really are. Oh.
I think you answered this one where there are students you completely misjudged and later realized you were wrong. I think we covered that one.
Yeah.
We did. All right. And then the hard part about, being the hardest thing that students never see.
So paperwork is the part that sucks the joy out of teaching.
That's grading papers, like at least back in the day.
Yeah. And I was grading essays.
You read every single essay, didn't you?
I did. I did.
Every single one.
Every freaking, can I say freaking?
100%.
Every freaking.
You read every single one, every
Yes.
off-topic, poorly written, didn't follow the instructions, can't really read it, can't use punctuation to save their life essay. You read every single one.
Yes. Now, about 20 years ago, or 15, 20 years ago, I stopped writing on them because I had gone through so many red pens and I would spend hours and write copious notes, do this, do that.
Yeah.
And no one read them. And even if they read them, they didn't
read 'em.
change anything. So I just stopped. And I'm very upfront. Every back to school night since then, I tell the parents, I tell the kids the first day of school, none of your papers will have comments on them. They'll have a grade. If you want to discuss why you got that grade,
Come see me.
you'll give me the paper back.
Yeah.
We'll schedule a meeting. I will write all over it before the meeting, and then we will do it. And every year I average about 3 kids.
Okay.
So it works. And nobody complains because I'm offering to do it. And and I do it. I do it when they ask
You
me
read
to.
every single one.
Every single one.
That's funny. I remember writing, and I would assume an essay in your class. I remember this in the middle of my essay. I swear to Lord on this. I promise this. Are you still reading? You circled it. I swear. I promise you. I'm not making that up. That's why I laugh so hard when I asked you, do you read them all? Because you read mine.
I do.
Are you still reading? Right? Because I had to have a word count or I had to be a certain whatever. So this, are you still reading? Question mark right in the middle of everything. And it was circled. So
yes.
you do.
I was still reading.
I read every single one of those.
I read one essay early in my career. And I'm reading it and I'm getting very confused because this person's talking about how sad it was, to be death, like writing this whole thing about death, but writing it in such a way that it didn't make any sense. And it took me 3/4 of a page to realize she meant death, but she was spelling it death. So I'm thinking that she's writing about death. And it's making and I'm making all these notes. Like, I don't really understand this sentence. And once I realized she was talking about someone being deaf, the whole thing made perfect sense. And I think about that essay. And so that's when I started reading them twice.
Wow.
Because I had to read through it first.
You really
before
showed up in that area. Aw.
That's why I'm so tired.
I'm so fucking tired.
I'm so tired. Oh my God. You have no idea. Oh, yeah.
This last question, I think we'll close with this one. Yeah, we'll close. Oh no, there's a bunch. Let's see here. We talked about this though. You know what makes him unique? We talked about. Let's pick one of these here. These are kind of the same question. What's the biggest difference? And I know technology is going to be in your answer to some degree, right? Or the begging for the absence of, right?
Yes.
What's the biggest difference between teaching in 1988 and teaching today? Not better, but different, and kind of blended with what today's kids do well in 87 and vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the biggest difference that's not necessarily better or worse is that we are so many other things besides teachers now.
Okay.
When you were in school, I would have, 25 kids in the class, and I taught to these 25 kids, and we left. Now, 12 of them are on an IEP or 504.
I know those.
5 of them are getting called out to see the counselor. 3 of them don't show up to class half the time, and it's okay because they can just go on independent study and it's excused. A couple of them are just taking this class because it fit in their schedule, because they want to go to UCLA, so they think they're just beyond everything we're doing anyway. And we are expected to teach to each of those students. So that is, and I say it's not better or worse, it's different because ideally you do teach to each of the students. I get that. Mm-hmm. Pragmatically, you can't. I mean, there's just, realistically, you can't teach 25 different lessons. So,
because the IEPs, that's what they're for, is for like modified learning, like in a modified learning environment, or just accommodations and all of those things,
yes,
right?
Yes, but they can be in the classroom. And I'm not criticizing that kids have
No,
those.
I get that. Yeah. But the challenge to weave that in with the rest of the class, with all the other layers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And now we have more and more kids who have 504s and IEPs. So now, like, literally a third of your class has them, and each of theirs is different. So that becomes, you're wearing a lot of hats.
I get that.
So that's different. And then what was the other part?
Would kids today, would your last, the kids that you just finished with this past year,
right?
You guys are on a bus trip down to Disneyland for the senior trip. Something happens. You end up back in 1987, and you come back home. Everything's different, and you come back to Ripon High in 1987. Everybody says, "Oh well, you're here now. Just go." Would those kids live? Would those kids survive? Where would they fall first?
Not being able to get a hold of their parents because they wouldn't have a cell phone.
Really? I mean, we joke about that, but like, you're front line for this.
Oh, when the phones, because in my classroom, all the phones go in a caddy, so they do not have them during class. But they'll go off occasionally. They'll forget to turn it, and they don't get in trouble. I just say, go turn it off. 99% of the time, it's a parent texting or calling them.
During school?
In the middle of the day. What?
I get that.
And they walk out of class and their heads are down immediately. But the other thing is, we have a much more organized curriculum today than we did in 1987. I mean, I walked into that classroom in 1987 and I did whatever I wanted.
Okay.
We didn't have, the state standards and the No Child Left Behind and the meeting these target.
Oh yeah, if we didn't pass, we flunked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was that simple. And so it was very free for teachers to explore whatever works for each class. But it was also a little chaotic because as a new teacher, you need some grounding. You need, guidance.
Sure.
So kids would not do well with that. They want to see it in Google Classroom. They want to see it on the board. They want to see it in your objectives, in your lessons. The the more we have figured out how to communicate with parents and students, the less they seem to know.
The more we can communicate with parents
and students,
the less they seem to know.
So I never heard from your parents. They knew what your grade was when you told them, or they saw it.
And when I was in night school 4 nights a week my senior year.
Correct. So now, as a parent, and you can do this too with your kids, I can go on Aries or whatever.
We have Aries, yeah.
The kids have Google Classroom, so if they're absent, they can look at Google Classroom and see what they missed. You know, you can sign up for weekly emails to find out missing assignments. We have all these we have a website so they know events. We've reached out in all these, so many ways, and yet kids and parents don't seem to know when things are due. They don't seem to know what is expected.
Are there any real consequences for for incomplete work or not completing? No Child Left Behind. They move forward anyway, right? I mean, the fear of flunking and the fear of Saturday school, the fear of summer school is just non-existent, right?
So, yes and no. I don't know why at the elementary level this happened. I can't speak to that, but
Sure.
I do know they don't seem to hold people back anymore.
Yeah.
Which is really when they should, like the primary grades, catch them right now and catch them up. We still have Saturday school. We still have summer school. Kids do still fail.
Okay.
And honestly, I mean, you have to make an effort to fail a high school class.
Okay.
In America. I mean, in 39 years, I never had one student fail my classes, any of my classes, who came to class, turned everything in, and did it on time. So if they didn't do those things, then yeah. But even if they failed the tests, if they turned everything in on time and did the work, they still would get a D.
Yeah.
And honestly, they'd probably do better than that because now they're prepared for the tests.
Right.
I mean, But no,
Well,
I do think that your generation would do, you would do fine today once you got over how insanely easy we have made everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you would be a little scared. I think you would be like, is someone pranking me? Is someone punking me? What's happening right now? Like, I get 3 extra days to do this, or I can do this for up to a week after I am absent, or, all these kind of insane things that we've made it so easy for kids to succeed. And you didn't have those.
No, I guess we had accountability and responsibility, but it just looked different. It was a little more immediate.
Yes.
Missing assignments or, being grounded, kids still get grounded, but, I think it was just those consequences were served quicker. Well, we talked about this,
Yep.
like, if I mouthed off to some dude, right, we were fighting at 3:00, right? That it was handled right then and there. And if I got in trouble in school, my consequences hit me by 5:00 when my parents got home.
Yep.
And so that whole idea of like, it's the opposite of instant gratification. It's like that instant reprisal. There's a phrase for it. Your consequence shows up right
The
now.
immediate consequence. And that's how you train dogs too.
Of your actions, right? But so that it works to the degree of like, I make a decision now. If I'm not going to do this homework assignment, I'm gonna be in trouble. And then do I want to get in trouble? Is it worth it? And that's more of the conversation in my head than am I going to do it, because there is something coming, and it sounds
Right.
like that something coming is now scheduled. It is now a little like maybe not softer, but not
It's softer.
less
You can
fear.
see it.
There's like when I
no
was
fear.
a kid, there was, if we got an F, we had to make it up, or we had to go to summer school. You know how much trouble I would be if I had to go to
And
summer
that
school?
is still true. They do still
Yeah.
have to do that. Yeah.
Is that F remediation? Is that
Yes.
and the fear of going to summer school? And then if you didn't go to, I knew a kid, I saw him at the arcade one day, and I'm like, aren't you supposed to be in summer school? He's like, fuck summer school, I ain't going to summer school. He's an older kid, right? Like all tough and stuff. I'm like, you're gonna flunk. And I remember thinking, you're gonna be in trouble. That's not I went nerdy. Well, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, that's not okay. You can't flunk. I'm in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble. And he was in 8th grade, so I must have been like in 5th or 6th, right? That's how. We didn't mess around, not like that. And if we did, we knew.
Yep.
At the end of the day. Anywho, all right. I think we would do well. Again, there would be a learning curve just to kind of make sure, but we wouldn't, Rip and Hide didn't have a smoking area when I was there. In fact, we weren't even allowed to wear shorts. Could you wear shorts yet?
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't wear shorts. Girls could, guys couldn't.
We don't really some of the male teachers wear shorts.
Yeah.
Now, we're lucky if anything's covered. And,
I get that.
And honestly,
or straight
I am all
pajamas.
about pajamas. So
or
everything's
pajamas.
covered. Yeah. And I'm all about, stop putting that on the girls. Let them wear what they want and teach the boys to not be distracted.
There's that line can move over that way. So yeah, I hear you. I do. I get that. I do. Because it sounds bad in the media when a guy forces himself onto a girl and then they blame the girl and they're like legit like really there's who really that's a stretch and you guys no one's gonna call bullshit on that really no one's gonna call bullshit on that. God, that's stupid.
Yeah.
The kid that still lives in you. Great double answer on that one. I appreciate that. Do. And I think that is it. There are more questions now, and you know what? Maybe we can get a colleague of yours and maybe have more of a group thing and talk more about Gen X teaching and just the difference in kids or just what was fun, just more conversation, right? Miss Burton. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Of course. No, I appreciate this. This was a lot of fun.
So fun.
I thank you for coming on because, we're Gen X and, this again, like how often will the chance to have one of my high school teachers, a Gen X teacher, right? And, someone I've kept rapport with over the years too, right? Yeah. So I'm grateful for that. I really am. So thank you, social media, for one, right? It allows connections. It does. It really does. So, I got one to make sure to monitor my kids. I did. I did. So, and they're doing quite well.
Good.
They're doing well.
Good.
They are. Okay. So that's going to do it for us tonight, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. We greatly appreciate each one of you guys, Donnie and Jamie and Cindy, and everybody else who, is watching and just didn't chime in. McDougal, love you, brother. Always have, always will, man. Holding it down out there in Missouri. That's it for us tonight, folks. I usually say my name is Jason. And then Greg will go, and I'm Greg. Peace out.
And I'm Cam.
And I'm Cam. Peace out, everybody. We have an outro. Oh, we do. We do. Bye, guys. I'll see you next week.